Hello, hello, hello. Tracy Jackson here, the tax savvy nurse. And in this video, I'm going to share with you how you can simply look to see if you're on track to pay the right amount of taxes to the IRS for 2019. So we call that a paycheck checkup. It is that time of year. It is June, so we're at the midway mark. And it's just a good time to make sure that you're looking, especially at your pay stubs based off of the tax that you owed last year, to make sure that you are on track so you don't have a big bill at the end of this, or I guess next tax season, right? So that you're not owing, especially if you owed last year. Hopefully you made some changes so you can not owe this year, but I'm going to show you a simple way to really look at it, and then another tool that you can use if you want a more detailed way to adjust your W-4 yourself. So what I do is I help nurses and health professionals to pay the least amount of taxes and increase their cash flow, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop over on my screen here and I'm going to show you a real live example. So let me just recap a little bit why this is important. So we really want to make sure that we are planning appropriately for our tax situation and that we are checking throughout the year what our situation looks like to make sure that we're not going to be in a position to overpay, grossly overpay, or underpay. You want to try to keep it at least around $1,000 or less that you owe, and $1,000 or less that you are getting a return. A lot of times, as you can see here, I'm on the IRS website. Pretty much the average is about $2,800 to $3,000 that people can see a return, and or that they're having a refund of that amount, and that tells us that you can make some adjustments to make sure that you're not overpaying that much, okay, or that you're actually keeping more of your money during the year rather than sending it to the IRS, okay? So the importance is, again, we want to keep that money in our household so that we can pay our bills, pay for things in our household, or invest whatever you want to do with it, but it's not serving any purpose by you paying extra. You don't want to have too little held from your taxes, and you don't want to overpay. So by having a way to check, you can use this calculator. The IRS website is a really good resource. I know some people can be intimidated by it, but if you go to their site, you will see a calculator that will help you to determine if you're on track. Now it can be pretty detailed, so you want to make sure that you have the right information in order to do your paycheck checkup, right? It's June, so we're mid-year, and this is a good time to do that because you'll still have time to be able to make adjustments so that if you're already in position where you're not paying enough, where you can make up for that, or vice versa. So you can make adjustments on your W-4. And so just so you know, on this page you can see the new W-4 form for 2019. But I'm not going to go into how to fill out the form. I just want you to know that it may look a little bit different. And the things that you want to have, right? What do you want to have or need to have in order to check if you are in a good position? You need to have your recent pay stub, and you need to have your most recent tax return. All right, and I'm going to show you where to look. It's just a quick and easy way without overcomplicating it and have to do calculations or anything like that, to just kind of gauge where you're at. Now, if you want to use the calculator and be real specific, the IRS has put this withholding calculator on here so that you can plug your personal information in and see exactly what you need to have your W-4 set at, right? So how you need to adjust that, or if you need to adjust it. So you'll just click on the calculator and you'll fill in your information, whether you're single, married, head of household, can someone else claim you or not, and so on and so forth. And so it has similar information or questions that are on the W-4, and it's going to end up calculating that for you. Now, a quick and simple way, so that's the calculator way. All right, I'm not going to go through all that. But the quick and simple way is I'm going to show you how to just look at your pay stub and your recent tax return. Okay, so this is a real example of a tax return. And if you see here under, I'm just going to show you directly where to look. You're going to find this pretty much on the first page, at the bottom of the first page on your tax return, and you're going to see this refund area. And this is where you'll find your total tax that was due for last year. Now, what I want to say is this is the tax due that's after other adjustments. So it depends on how much you made with your wages, your total income, which is your wages or any other unearned income, and then if you had any business income, those types of things, right? So it depends on if your salary increased, decreased, stayed the same. But I'm going to do this example based off of if everything was pretty much the same as last year. That's how you can gauge, because if your tax liability was, let's say, $5,000 last year and everything is still the same, then you can account for probably paying, owing about $5,000 for the next year. Hopefully that makes sense. So in this example, assuming that you didn't make any additional income in your business, you had the same amount of unearned income, you had the same amount of salary at your nursing job or whatever, everything is pretty much the same. You have the same number of dependents and similar credits, because there's different things that can vary based off of looking at your tax liability. So once you get all those calculations in there, it totals up how much tax you owe based off of how much income you had. Okay, and so in this example, you'll see it on line 15, it'll say total tax. And so if you see this $8,682, so that was the total tax that was due for this person in 2018. All right, so once you find that number, again, you're going to need your pay stub and your tax return. Go and find this number on your tax return where it says total tax on line 15. And then also you'll see, just to get an idea, how much was withheld last year. So this person ended up owing some money because their total tax due was $8,682. But from their paycheck, they only their job only pulled out $5,647 and sent that to the IRS. So that's how much they paid. So that's kind of how you see where you're at. So remember that number, or write it down actually. So you're going to write down the $8,682, and then you're going to go look at your last pay stub. Okay, so and then here is the pay stub for this person up until June. Okay, so as of June currently, so this is where your last pay stub is at. You're going to look at your federal withholding, and you're going to look for the year to date. So that means how much you have paid out in your federal for this. Now this doesn't include state, we're just looking at the federal. All right, so $1,944.04. So what you'll do is you'll take the 8682. Oh wow, definitely not that. Okay, so 8682, and you'll subtract how much you've already paid in your taxes for this year, which is not much. And so that's how much you will have to catch up. Okay, and so for this particular person, they're actually exempt right now, so they're not having any federal taxes taken out at this point as of June. So they will definitely need to change that, because they still have $6,700 about that left to pay. So if they left this at zero, that means that they would have about this much that they owe during tax time. So hopefully that makes sense to you all. So that magic number was 8682 that we're trying to get to. Now, when I look back at what they were previously taking out when they had their withholding at about 5 for federal, it was $427. Okay, so we're going to do some simple math here. We're going to take 427, all right, times 2. They're getting paid twice a month. And then we're going to multiply that by 6. We're just going to round it to about 6 months left in the year. So if they change it back to what they had it before, they will have paid an additional $5,124. So hopefully you guys follow me. So that's if they change it back, which needs to be done, right, in June. So this is what we're trying to see, where we're at and how much we have left to pay the IRS. So that's a little short. So if you think back to what we had left, it was $6,737. So I'm going to write that down. Okay, and so 6, 7, we're just going to round it 6, 7, and then minus 5, 1, 2, 4. I hate this calculator. All right, so $1,613 is the difference. All right, so here's what this tells us. The current situation that this person is in, they're not paying any taxes as of now. They've only paid in $1,944, and they're going to need to make some adjustments. That's pretty much the outcome here. They need to go back to their W-4, and they need to put it back to at least the 5 withholding, or probably even less. So the lower your withholding, the more money that is taken out, the higher the withholding or the allowances that you have or the deductions, the less money that they take out of your check. All right, so this person probably needs to not only go back to what they were having taken out before, but actually lower it. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. It's very, very simple. Hopefully I didn't overcomplicate it, but the basic here is step number 1, go to your tax return on page 1, right above your refund, and look for the taxes that you owed last year. Write that number down, then go to your most recent pay stub, look and see how much on your federal withholding you have already sent out this year, and then you subtract that from what you've already from what you paid last year, right? And that's going to give you the difference of what's left. Once you see what they're taking out of your check, every check, and how much you're paying every month, kind of divide that and see if that equals up to what you have left. All right, and then it should kind of balance out. If it doesn't balance out, then you can go to your W-4 and make an adjustment of increase or decrease, whatever you need to do to kind of try to make that balance out to not owing a lot, but not getting a big refund. Now, that's the simplest way that I can explain it. Everybody's situation is going to be very, very different. And the other thing I have to say, this definitely is not tax advice to where I'm advising you on your specific situation, because the only way that we can do that is if we actually have a discussion, because there's other things that go into this calculation, as I mentioned earlier. So it depends on if your income changed, if you have how many dependents you're now carrying, if you got married, if you're, that changes things. If your standard deduction changes, if you have additional, like if you have a business and you went from making $400 last year to $10,000 this year, that's going to change your income, okay? And then we get into a whole other thing of owing self-employment tax. So there's a lot of variables, but for those nurses that just have a job and they just want to see, because I hear it all the time, people are like, oh, I'm gonna go exempt. I'm gonna go exempt so they ain't take any taxes. Well, you can't do that and not understand the full picture of your tax situation and go back and fix it correctly, because some people are just kind of doing it blindly and just kind of adjusting or decreasing the numbers based off of if they want more money that month or if they don't. So go back through this video again if you want to review it. Just all you need is the pay stub and your last tax return. Basically, you're just kind of seeing the difference of what's left and making sure that you're not giving too much and not giving too little. Now, for those of you who this totally just confused and you're like, I don't get it, and you need help, don't worry. You can click the link below and schedule a consultation with me, and we can look at your situation and see where you're at. Also, I do have a program that is super, super powerful that I refer people to as well. We do have specialists and wealth professionals, financial professionals that can do this for you. So it can be very simple. You want to make sure that you have a financial team backing you up. And I know that a lot of times as just you know, middle class people or people that don't have businesses or running corporations, they think that they don't need a financial team. And that is the biggest thing that I think is hurting us as you know, average individuals, right? People that are working, they don't seek counsel from financial advisors, and it puts them in a lot of trouble because they don't understand not just how to make the money. All right, they're trying to make the money, trying to make ends meet, trying to pay bills and all of that, but you have to really plan and understand how to keep the money that you're already making. And if you don't understand that, then we do have a program that can help you with that. Our professionals will actually, you can just upload your W-2s, you can upload your tax returns to them, and they will do the assessment for you and fill out the W-4 for you. You will take it back to your job, and then it will reflect the adjustments on your very next paycheck. For some people, that is turning them an increase, right? They're realizing that, oh my goodness, I'm overpaying. I've already paid enough tax, right? That can be the situation as well. Based on your full situation that they assess or that we assess, you may have already paid your tax liability for the year. So that way you need to adjust your W-4 so that you can keep most of your money, right? You don't need to pay any more because we don't want that outcome of having a tax return that's more than $600 to $1,000. That is too much, right? So we want to not be over either way. So if you have questions about that, definitely I'll post the link to the video or the overview of that particular program in the link below if you want to see how you can have them adjust your W-4 for you, or if you just want to talk to me and discuss your your tax situation and want me to look at it with you, we can definitely do that. All right, so hopefully this was helpful. Like I said, go back over it again if you need to recatch or review it again, okay? If you are the first time watching this video and you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. I will be adding additional content every week that will be tax, finance, and business related, really to help nurses and health professionals pay the least amount of in taxes, increase their cash flow, and really take a hold of their finances so that they can find freedom. You guys, freedom away from the bedside, away from the hospital, away from nursing, if that's what they choose to do, right? Giving them additional options. And when you have additional cash flow, that creates options for you. So link up with me, post a comment below if you have any questions, or comment if you think this was helpful for you, and just reach out to me if you have any additional questions. So until next time, this is Tracy Jackson here, the Tax Savvy Nurse, and I will see you next time.